And no!
Prior to the fight, Belal Muhammad had fired back once again, reigniting his feud with Kamaru Usman, this time over the still unreleased podcast that became the center of their brewing storm. In an interview with Daniel Cormier, Belal Muhammad opened up about the situation, revealing that tensions flared before the cameras even started rolling. He said the back and forth began with both men nearly coming to blows and asserted that Kamaru Usman forgot he was standing across from a real champion.
So we got onto the podcast, and then Kamaru's ego is so big. He didn't realize that he had a real champion in front of him. He thought he was still the world champion. And I think
because of the same management, you guys have always been in the same circle, but because he was the champion, you always have been kind of the guy. The roles are reversed.
Yeah.
So it's hard to kind of look at this new world that we live in.
Exactly. Well, it's you're supposed to be a professional. You're a podcaster, right? Like, you know.
I'd fight your ass too. Go ahead.
You're the host.
Yes.
But
revealing more details, Belal told Daniel that the tension started during a discussion about who the real world champion is. When Belal mentioned himself as the champion, Kamaru interrupted, insisting he was also a champion, something that didn't sit well with Belal. He fired back, criticizing Usman for being on an 8-fight losing streak, which triggered the entire confrontation.
He's not really a good host. He doesn't really know how to talk. He doesn't know how to speak. Cejudo's probably should take the lead a little bit more, but we were just talking about it, me being at the top and how I'm the champion now, and he was like, no, I'm the champion too. And I'm like, how are you the champion too? What are you talking about?
Wait, no, you stop.
Bro, literally. He literally said, I'm the champion too.
Belal, stop.
And I was like, bro, is this guy's head that big? I'm like, no, you're not the champion.
is
You're on a
crazy.
3-5 losing streak. And
You said that right there?
Oh, bro, no. It got even worse. This is where I think over the top.
Oh my God. Were you guys there?
Oh, if we were there,
Who was there?
Lou.
Is this all true?
There, Lou blew it. For Das. It was for Das.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead.
This is what triggered it. He was like, I'm the champion. Anything you do, I do better.
Furthermore, Belal Muhammad claimed the exchange made Usman so emotional that he looked like he was about to cry. He said he saw a tear in Usman's eye and described him as acting like a kid throwing a tantrum over his championship status. Belal added that things got so heated, a few people ended up getting hit and grappling inside the interview room.
And I was like, you don't take the head kick better than me.
Well, that's kind of hitting below the belt a little bit.
Like, if you're going to come after him,
Like a little bit below the belt, maybe?
no, it's like, you can't. If you're going to talk, like, you got to be able to take it.
Oh.
And then it was like, from there, I saw the tear, like, you know, when somebody's about to cry, like you're watching a movie, you see it like blowing inside your eyes. I was like, bro, is this man really gonna cry right now? I was like, bro, chill. You were a champion before, man. Relax. And then it started tearing up. And then, you know, when those kids, when you're a young kid and you get mad and you start crying and you're like, oh, I'm gonna fight you. And that's what it turned out to be.
And you guys tussle?
I mean, it wasn't really a tussle. Like, somebody got hit. Somebody got cracked up.
Meanwhile, Kamaru Usman, speaking about Belal Muhammad, admitted that he had not paid much attention to him throughout his career, explaining that he had always been focused on the next opponent. He acknowledged the speculation surrounding their rivalry, but clarified that in his view, Belal was a skilled boxer with plenty of credit to his name.
No, there's allegedly a lot of speculation, you know, a lot of things being said. No, it's, you know, Belal's a guy that I never really, you know, he was always around, and I never really took like paid attention to, because I was doing what I needed to do to get I was always fighting the next guy up. I didn't really pay attention to Belal. And but you know, now I'm forced to actually look at Belal. He's not bad. You know, he's just good everywhere. So, and that's been working. That's worked for him. So he's not bad. I'm never in any way discrediting that.
Furthermore, Kamaru Usman accused Belal Muhammad of being the kind of champion who thrives on unnecessary drama and memes. He said that when he finally took a closer look at Belal, he noticed the antics and realized that Belal was deliberately provoking altercations, something Usman felt compelled to eventually respond to.
Once I was forced to pay attention to him, I started to kind of see the antics that goes on outside of the cage. And I was never that guy. You know, if I was champion and the next guy up was barking at me, and then of course I would respond, all right, and then we get in there and we'd settle it. But Belal just seems to be a different type of champion who he's willing to make memes and he's willing to get on Twitter and social media because he wants the attention. He craves that attention. Even if you're a lightweight, even if you're a guy that's a flyweight that's not even in his division, he's willing to have that back and forth with you. And for me, I just find it a little bit distasteful.
On the other hand, Belal Muhammad had repeatedly accused Kamaru Usman of taking personal shots at him. He insisted that he only spoke facts, but Usman's ego couldn't handle it, leading him to nearly come to blows. Belal added that Usman became visibly upset during the podcast.
Did you roast him? Like, did you give him some jokes and he just couldn't really take them? Like, what did
I didn't even like, I just hit him with, you know, facts and truth. And I think that his ego is so big that it hurt him a little bit, right? He's so used to talking back and forth with like morons like Kobe Covington and stuff. But when he has somebody that's intelligent and way wittier than all these guys and smarter than these guys, I think that his ego got involved and it started hurting him. It started stinging a little bit. Almost brought him to tears.
Dude, really? So did he actually get pretty upset during the recording?
I'll leave it at that, you know. We'll just keep it right there.
Well, let's get everything.
Blasting Kamaru Usman, Belal Muhammad made it clear he was not afraid of him, claiming that Usman was the one holding back the podcast because he got emotional during the recording. Belal didn't hold back, mocking Usman as a fighter with no knees, and even alleging that he cried during the podcast. He also took a jab at Usman's finances, saying he hadn't released it because he couldn't afford to hire an editor.
What do you make of Usman's, you know, he's saying like if you guys are backstage together, you might need extra security after the issues you guys have had.
Who?
Kamaru Usman.
The former champion on a 3-fight losing streak. I would have to be afraid of that guy with no knees and no cartilage and a big head. Nah, man, I think I'll be fine.
And last one, speaking of that podcast, do you think there's a reason they haven't put it out yet? Or do you think they may be holding it in case he gets a title shot? Or is there a reason why? Did he come off worse is basically what I'm asking.
No, I mean, if you're a grown man and you start crying on a podcast, and it's your podcast, and you start tearing up, why would you want to put it out there? Unless there's like a really good editor that's going to try to clear it up. But I don't think they got that much money.
In the meantime, Kamaru Usman had remained firm in his stance, saying he was eventually releasing the podcast but downplayed its significance, revealing it was only about 10 minutes long. He stated that the situation was settled and urged Belal Muhammad to focus on his upcoming fight at UFC 315, while emphasizing that he was also concentrating on his own bout scheduled for June 14th.
Eventually, hopefully we'll release that podcast because it wasn't really... He was only there for like maybe 10 minutes. It wasn't really long. And then it was over and he left. But yeah, that was about it. But I mean, he's fighting this coming weekend. So, you know, I'm sure he's focused on that. And, you know, and I'm focused on my fight June 14th with Joaquin Buckley.
While Kamaru Usman had shown respect toward Belal Muhammad, Belal hadn't taken any of his jabs lightly. He's continued to troll and roast Usman, repeatedly mocking him for not being a real champion. In one clip where Usman's name came up, Belal didn't hold back, saying that even entertaining the idea of playing games with Kamaru was ridiculous to him.
This is Belal to Kamaru. Dominated division. Laugh, laugh, laugh. You beat Masvidal twice and went to cardio kickboxing war with Colby twice. Colby sucks. You are protected by UFC. Now you can barely walk. Your podcast sucks, and your part in Black Panther sucked. Bro, why you gotta hit his attack his acting? You had to go there too?
10-7 round.
Damn.
Dude. Hey,
Damn.
hey, dude.
He went after everybody. He went after Masvidal, went after Colby. Now he goes after his acting.
I like this. You can barely walk, dude. Your podcast sucks. Your part in the Black Panther sucks.
I mean, get personal, why don't you?
Savage.
Then I'm sitting there like, bro, don't tweet at me. Like I'm gonna fire back, and I got stuff in the chamber.
Belal had reignited his rivalry prior to the fight again, pointing out that Kamaru only needed a little spark to ignite a full blaze. While the hosts of a podcast were eager to see a potential fight between Belal and Kamaru, Belal made it clear that he was ready to attack at any moment, showing no hesitation in his readiness for a confrontation.
I mean, like, you don't want to play this game with me, Kamaru. Like, you want this fire, you're gonna get it.
See, I would watch that fight. That's the fight. You and Kamaru, it's already building now. Take my money, dude. That thing sells itself.
Yeah.
While Kamaru believed everything was settled, Belal Muhammad had made it clear that it was far from over. In an interview with Demetrius Johnson, Belal recalled the entire experience, claiming he even tried to console Kamaru when he saw tears welling up in his eyes. He also stated that Kamaru was no longer in his league, emphasizing that he was someone who hadn't been relevant in the UFC for a long time.
No, Kamaru Usman is not my peer, man. He's my.
Well, you guys are co-workers. You work for the same company, all right? You both get
I don't think he even works for the company anymore. He hasn't fought in like 3 years. He's not up there. The guy, I think his ego in his head is so big that he thinks he's still at the top. And that's what I brought up to him in the podcast. I was like, bro, you're not at the top anymore. You're not. I'm the champion now. And I think it just like hurt his ego so bad. And I was just watching him, and he's ready to tear up. And I was just like, bro, are you okay? Like, what's going on over there?
Belal Muhammad went on to blast Kamaru Usman, arguing that Usman had never truly earned his place at the top. He accused Usman of only talking about a comeback, but when it came time to deliver, nothing happened. Belal asserted that he was a champion who built his success through his own efforts, while Kamaru only bragged about a fake championship.
I think these guys, he still talks like he's there. I'm like, win a fight. You haven't fought. You're posting all these videos, soon I come back, soon this, soon that. Stop with the quotes, right? Like, him and Michael Chandler are teammates, right? When are we ever gonna see these guys at the top? See you at the top. It's never happening. They have all the quotes in the world, but they're not good enough. Kamaru's one of those guys that he's not good enough. He's not gonna make it anymore. And he's just trying to stay in the limelight by using my name, by talking to the champion. You're gonna get a response from me, right? Because I'm a guy that's always gonna clap back no matter who's talking. And even when I said before, like, make the welterweight great again, like as a champion myself, I'm like, I want to fight who's the next best guy.
Blasting Kamaru Usman's record, Belal Muhammad pointed out that all the fighters Usman had faced were ones who hadn't truly earned their shot. He emphasized that in contrast, he worked hard and earned his championship status. Reflecting back on the podcast, Belal claimed that Kamaru looked stupid during the entire exchange.
I'm ready to fight all these guys. When Kamaru was champion, he was like, let me rematch Masvidal. Let me fight Colby twice. And when you're looking at the resume of the guys he's fought, those guys didn't earn it. Like, I've earned it, and how the road I had to take. So now that all these younger next generations are on the come up, I'm gonna give those guys a shot next, right? Kamaru could probably post that podcast and, you know, get in the mix, but I think it'll hurt his ego too much because he looks so stupid in there.
Meanwhile, Belal Muhammad acknowledged the business appeal of a potential fight with Kamaru Usman. He criticized Usman for constantly bragging about his dominance only on podcasts, yet refusing to release the episode where he allegedly got emotional. Belal insisted that Kamaru had become more of a podcaster than a fighter, calling him out to step into the cage and prove his pound-for-pound status to the world.
Let me fight Kamaru, right? There would be a build-up. There would be a back and forth. And those are the fights I want, right? But he gotta win a fight. Like, he gotta fight. Like, all this talking, all this thing, like, his chest up, he's walking around with his shirt off all the time in his podcast, and I'm the pound-for-pound king. Show us you're the pound-for-pound king. Win a fight. You haven't won a fight in 3 years. Everybody's calling you out. You have Buckley saying his name a million times. Respond to these guys. Don't stop with the attitude of, these guys want to keep saying my name. When I'm ready to go, I'll go. That's like, bro, are you a fighter or are you a podcaster? Like, you gave it up. You already told everybody you're the podcaster now.
So
Yeah, I'm done.
Kamaru is just, he's still on the edge. He's still living on the edge, and I think that he just can't let it go.
At the same time, Belal Muhammad stated that he was always looking for a top-tier opponent and had expected it to be Shavkat. He made it clear that Kamaru Usman was never on his radar, further fueling their ongoing rivalry by saying he did not even consider Usman a fighter of his caliber.
Kamaru Usman wasn't even in the mix. Nobody was really in the mix. Right after my fight, I knew it was going to be Shavkat. For me, I knew I was just going to mess around and talk trash because everybody wanted to have a voice now. Everybody wanted to mention my name. So, you know me, I'm always going to clap back. I love the smoke. But for myself, I always knew it was going to be Shavkat, and I always wanted to be Shavkat. Like I told Jason Anik on my podcast, I'm like, when you get the title, people say you're being hunted, right? You're the guy with the bullseye on your back. For myself, I'm always a hunter. I'm always looking at what's next. I'm always trying to see who I want to fight next. And my next target was going to be Shavkat from the beginning.
On the other hand, Kamaru Usman took a jab at Belal Muhammad, claiming there was nothing significant in the interview. He stated that he was about to release it only if Belal's upcoming fight didn't perform well in terms of viewership. Usman also argued that the interview gave Belal's career a major boost, which was why he kept bragging about it.
A lot of people have been saying, drop the Belal interview.
The interview didn't go as planned. It wasn't that great of an interview anyways. It wasn't even that long. That was the biggest moment of his life because that's all that he seems to want to talk about.
In another moment of shade, Kamaru Usman couldn't help but mock Belal Muhammad after he was stopped by security at the UFC 311 event. Usman found the situation hilarious, openly enjoying the fact that Belal wasn't recognized by security as a top contender, or even as a fighter. The incident fueled Usman's ongoing criticism, as he used it to suggest that Belal still wasn't seen as a true champion in the eyes of the UFC.
Belal could be dead. You know, the security guards didn't know who he was, dude. That's crazy, bro. And that's crazy, man. It should like the UFC. The UFC, they need it.
Play the video.
They need to do a better job, dude. Of come on, man. Somebody lead, bro. Like let him walk up. Don't be like trying to get his ID number. Don't be checking his ID, dude. The dude is. Anyways,
Henry. Let's. I want to hear the video. What is? I want to hear Ryan play the video.
The security doesn't. Look at the state it is. The security doesn't know he's the champ. No, I'm not surprised, mother.
Kamaru Usman didn't hold back during the interview, indulging in some personal jabs and full-on roasting Belal Muhammad, laughing hysterically as he recounted the situation, clearly enjoying every second of the mockery.
He is an asshole, I think.
Is that actually Connor, dude? Is that a fucking AI?
Yo, the impression. Go back, skip back a little bit.
I'm excited for.
Amidst the ongoing beef between Belal Muhammad and Kamaru Usman, tensions escalated during the face-off between Belal and his new opponent, Jack Della Maddalena, who was named as a replacement for Shavkat Rakhmonov. The confrontation quickly turned heated, with the two nearly coming to blows before UFC President Dana White stepped in to separate them. Reflecting on the situation, Kamaru Usman didn't hold back his criticism of Belal Muhammad. He pointed out that many were underestimating Jack Della Maddalena and took a jab at Belal for constantly bragging about his striking, comparing himself to Canelo. Usman made it clear he was not buying into that hype and saw this as a potential upset. According to him, Jack Della Maddalena had what it takes to hand Belal Muhammad a loss.
Moving on, Henry. Main event of the evening. Jack Della Maddalena taking on, let's scroll down so I can see the name, Belal Muhammad. I think a lot of people are kind of sleeping on JDM here. JDM he has the ability to potentially win this fight. I'm going to give this guy an opportunity to beat. I don't believe him in any way. If that actually is what he's going to go out there and do, then I could see a potential upset here.
That's a wrap on the latest heat between Kamaru Usman and Belal Muhammad, and it was getting personal. Belal publicly pressed Usman, asking when he would finally release their full podcast episode, hinting there was more to the story than fans heard. The tension was real, and the back and forth was only adding fuel to their ongoing feud. Oh, and Usman didn't hold back, predicting Jack Della Maddalena would just hand Belal a shocking loss. And just like that, Jack Della Maddalena and Belal Muhammad left it all in the cage. A war that lived up to the hype. Whether you saw an upset or a statement win, this one shook up the division, and fans won't stop talking anytime soon. Like, comment, and subscribe for more UFC drama and fight talk. Stay tuned. This story's far from over.